Hey everybody, this is your friend Daniel Hutchins, and we are back again for another article discussion. Our article discussion today is going to be about Daredevil. Yes, Daredevil. So, Daredevil and his most underrated writer has fixed the Frank Miller and his worst problem. Okay, so Frank Miller had a run of Daredevil, if you remember. It was highly impactful, but the new run has corrected Miller's treatment of female characters into the fold. Now, this was a few minutes ago. So, few writers are synonymous with Daredevil in Marvel Comics, such as Frank Miller was. But during his tenure writing The Man Without Fear from 1979 to 1983, Frank Miller has introduced iconic characters like Stick and Elektra, as well as villainous ninja groups, The Hand. Now, best known for their story arc, Born Again, the artist we know, David Mazzucchelli, has spanned Daredevil 227 to 231. Now, Miller has offered a gritty version of Daredevil reflective to the social problem that has plagued New York City during the time. Now, Miller's work of Daredevil is undeniably impactful. Now, after having informed most casual fans' conception of his character, even so to these demands, so Daredevil writers of the future, whose run was almost those following after Miller, now remaining under-recognized for this contribution to the character, this artist has great legacies for Daredevil in her new unique vision of this new character. We know that's going to be Matt Murdock's girlfriend. Her introduction as the villain, we know Typhoid Mary. Now, you probably remember Typhoid Mary if you watched the series. But okay, so while Miller's Daredevil run was thought to be a definitive story to The Man Without Fear, we must know that also features what many consider to be trouble depictions of women. Now, yeah, so especially for Karen Page, who notably was in Born Again. Karen becomes a sex worker addicted to heroin and spends much of her time lamenting her conditions, hoping that Matt will save her for herself. But again, while sex work and drugs works aren't inherently problematic now, they are used to make Karen undesirable and a damsel of distress, incapable of helping herself or anyone else around her. Now, instead of being seen as a human being, she represents the old trope of a fallen woman, whose actions exist only to substitutes of morality and authority of protagonists. Now, we noted it's in contrast during Nocenti's 4 year run, Karen became an active force within stories. Now, opening up the legal aid clinics of Hell's Kitchen, they've helped people left behind the city meager social service. With her past addictions to drugs still on the point of trouble for her, we reimagine Karen Page as a 3D character who's just as heroic, if not more, than Daredevil himself. Her arcs of her character under her stewardship took her from being a helpless victim to proactive community advocates. You've used their darkness of her past to call action out in her present. Take on Karen Page thus fixed the static conditions of victimhood and defined her character in a redefinement during Frank Miller's run, not only adding more complexity and nuance to Daredevil's world, but in superhero comics genre as a whole. Okay, so Karen Page, her character arc, and then Anne Nesenti's run not only had consequences for how female characters represent in comics, but also how Daredevil operated as his hero to his community by diving into not only Matt's complex psychology, but also to the people who actually lived near Hell's Kitchen. Now, Nesenti's created powerful stakes for Daredevil because readers knew the people he was trying to keep safe. During the Miller run, Matt Murdock has acted solitary manner on behalf to Hell's Kitchen, now coming to violent blows with the enemies and tested his commitment to his Catholic beliefs, while also inspiring some of the most striking scenes from Daredevil publication history. Nocenti has proved that his heroism does not need to come at the expense of another character's dignity. Now, in itself, why it represents why there was the Miller treatment of Karen Page, ultimately signifying a limitation of the characterization for Daredevil. If he could only imagine as good because as his role in melodramatic storylines with his girlfriend, is missed out some immense potential for his character was, but however, rather than measuring Daredevil's heroism with perceived moral pitfalls to his girlfriend, Nesenti has presented much more nuanced pictures with a blind man committing his justice, living in societies that discounted his voice because of disabilities, forcing him to adopt new personas in order to help people listen to him. Nocenti's Daredevil didn't need the sins of women to his life in order to be the hero he has to be. But the greatest correction of Karen Page and Matt Murdock relationship was Ann Nocenti's Daredevil reimagining that has made Matt a hero not because he was with a fallen woman like Karen was, but because he was directly involved with legal aid services and she was providing community to Hell's Kitchen. And again, Karen's clinic has helped sex workers, people with drug problems, and people dealing with predatory landlords, and a lot more, and gave them some tools to navigate systems built against them. And this more in line with the direct essence of what makes Daredevil such a unique, special hero, as he tries to negotiate between his personal senses of justice based on Catholic beliefs with the state vision of justice system and law, Redenson's laws, and while Matt was far from perfect, he cheated on Karen with Typhoid Mary, beginning from book number 254, now featuring John Romita Jr. and some other big names. His slights were of his own doing, rather than just being attributed to a female character in a moralistic way. Okay, an uncomfortable legacy from Frank Miller Daredevil was his treatment of women in comics, particularly from regards to how they were used to way to prove Matt Murdock was the hero. While Miller shaped the foundation of character for years to come for gritty approaching, it came to the cost of reducing female characters to tired tropes. These old tropes have hampered on Daredevil stories because they provide narrow framework for which characters can coexist. So for Daredevil in particular, the blind vigilante and the Catholic lawyers with Catholic beliefs has his own identity is based on foiling hackneyed expectations. This comes across as more disappointing and pretty disgusting. Now, ultimately, Ann Nocenti's Daredevil run showed two different sides to Hell's Kitchen. For every person involved in corruption, while five people try to combat it, with characters like Karen Page, Nocenti has showed that Daredevil is emblematic to the community commitment to help each other, instead of being a lone fighter with an impossible task of keeping his entire neighborhood safe. Daredevil has supported ordinary people like his girl Karen, trying to help him bring down the city villains. Writer Ann Nocenti showed this that Daredevil could not fix institutional problems by swinging his fist in his billy club, but he's needed community organizers like Karen in his fight against injustice. And that's because there's a fact that remains hugely relevant to Daredevil comics to this day. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts. This is just another quick one talking about how Daredevil got fixed after the run of Frank Miller. Now, let me know. It's really interesting. So, I just want to let you guys know that I am probably going to be doing a late night video. It might be a couple hours or something later, though. But I'll probably do a late night video, depending on all what goes down. But yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys in a little while. And if you haven't caught up or seen the other videos yet, please check them out. I posted them yesterday night, so you check those out. I added some shorts that I been long overdue to post, and I posted some other things too. So please check out the channel, explore it, and enjoy and have a great day. And of course, since tomorrow will be Sunday. I'm hoping you guys will have a wonderful week next week, and I'll see you guys for more content in the future. Bye.